I didn't set out to climb 6 high points this year. In fact, 3 months ago I was just chasing a sunset, wanting to drive until the world felt quiet. Somehow it led me to the summit in Georgia. It started on a whim. I didn't know it meant something yet, but looking back, it was the first step to following breadcrumbs on a trail. So I planned it. 5 peaks solo over one long weekend. No distractions, just to feel. From sunrises on the bayou to sweat-soaked shirts on mountaintops, I summited the highest point in Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Missouri. I told myself it was about training or goals or this trail of balance project of mine, but that was just the surface. Beneath it all was silence. Silence in the car, and silence from the one I love. 2,300 miles solo, and for what? I crossed 10 borders, hiked 5 peaks, slept in places I had never before seen, and there were moments I almost didn't go. The hardest terrain wasn't the elevation, it was the emotion. It felt ridiculous, chasing high points while my heart still felt so low. Hours with no company save your own thoughts and a couple of audiobooks. Every mile, every outlook, every gas station snack came with memories. But turning around would mean admitting the past is stronger than the present, and I don't want that to be true anymore. But then I drove, and I hiked, and I climbed. One summit after another, each one whispered, "You're not lost, you're just changing." I wasn't chasing closure, I didn't expect epiphany, I just needed to prove to myself that I could keep climbing. Not just climbing up peaks, but climbing out of grief, out of longing, and out of the version of me that stayed behind. This trip wasn't just for me. I thought of her. I always do. 2 years ago, my life looked very different. I lived with someone I loved more than I've ever loved anyone, and the weight of what we had still lives in my ribcage. The good years, the collapse, the long echoing silence, I still feel her there. Not haunting, just present. Like a song you can hear from memory even when it's stopped playing. Grief has a strange kind of gravity. It pulls you inward. Mountains, ironically, do the opposite. I think she'd like these roads. I wonder if she'd see the version of me I'm trying to become. I won't pretend I'm over it or that I've stopped wishing she'd reach out, but I'm no longer waiting in place. I'm walking forward and I'm carrying that love with me, not behind me. Each summit was small compared to Everest in standards, but each was tall enough to remind me that I can do difficult things. Some trails were muddy and long, but each one reminded me that I can keep going even when no one's clapping. Alabama had a 90-year-old 50-foot stone tower. Mississippi had a 1-lane dirt road that was closed and required a careful reverse down the mountain. Louisiana was one of the highlights. Having to overshoot to go bed down in Bossier City, I came back to the mountain at sunrise and had the entire place just completely alone in the forest. There was a break in Arkansas at the hot springs, and a pleasant hike up from a gigantic lodge. Missouri was very thankfully quiet. It would have been much less enjoyable with a crowd. Somewhere I started to feel lighter. Not healed, but lighter. I wasn't racing a stopwatch. I was racing the part of me that wanted to turn around and go back. At the top I stood alone, and it was enough, but also not enough. I brought photos with me. Photos of people I miss. I didn't show them on camera. Some things are not meant for social media, and some moments are just for the wind, the silence, and the summit. Love doesn't just vanish. What matters is what you do with it, and I've chosen to build something from it rather than to wallow in what's missing. There on the highest rock for miles around, there's a clarity. I closed my eyes and wanted to feel triumphant, but all I felt was quiet. It doesn't fix anything, but it reminds you of what still matters, and maybe that's what I needed most. The road got longer, and the silences got heavier. I started to ask myself why I was still going. Loneliness has sharp corners. I thought about her a lot on this trip, and that will never change. But it was even more than I'd expected. Even surrounded by landscapes I've dreamt of, I still reached for my phone more than I should have. Silence is a mirror, and this trip held it up to me over and over again, but these summits are mine now, proof that I've changed. Not for her, but because of everything that we shared, and everything that I've learned since. I wonder if she'd be proud. I wonder if she'd smile, seeing that I haven't given up. But she didn't text. She never does. I doubt she'll see this, but still, I check my phone, and every time I do, I feel like I've betrayed my own progress. I talk to her in the wind. I want her to know that I've kept climbing. But here's what I've learned from the road and from these peaks. Just because something ends doesn't mean the story is over. The journey wasn't about conquering or peak bagging or setting records or getting content. It was about a lot more than that. Not about getting her back, it was about becoming someone of whom I can be proud. Someone who keeps promises even when no one's watching. Someone worth returning to. I'm climbing for the version of me that never gave up. 6 summits down, 50 to go. No fanfare, just one man becoming who he promised himself he'd be. This is just the middle of the story, and I've only just begun writing the next chapter. Some stories have no villain, only time and distance and choices we weren't ready to make. I still love her, and that's not a weakness, it's a compass. No matter how far I climb, that love guides me onward. It always has and always will. But I've learned that not every road takes you where you'd hoped. Sometimes it just takes you where you needed it to go.